Hello, every pony. I'm back after that really awkward ending to the last time because I ran out of time because the YouTube time limit is stupid unless you've uploaded a super amount of videos if I'm correct. Now, okay, I found out where I left off. And if you can hear something in the background, that's either my music or my cat. Or something else that I'm unsure of, and you might be going crazy! And yes, I'm listening to music right now. Why? Because bro. Anyway, let's get on with the show. Oh my god, we still got a lot left. Her little mouth was puffy and immature looking, and her slit was a single delicate pencil-thin line of pink that gently parted as she tried to lift herself off me and above it. Just under where her now sopping wet little rose-colored tail began, an adorable little pucker winked at me. I stared in astonishment, still holding on to her hips and trying to lift her off me. Okay, now. But then she slipped, and she sat right back down on my face, and I felt that gorgeous baby pussy pressing and rubbing against my lips, and it felt impossibly soft and hot. Far hotter than the bathwater itself. Yeah, this is going to get really kinky really fast. Whoa, I said at last, pushing her off unwillingly, for her little pussy had been an absolute delight against my mouth, and I had just begun to get a hint of her sexy little girl scent. But I had to breathe sometime. And at the same time, Scootaloo had been pulled off my legs by Sweetie Belle, and I could breathe more easily. As I sat up, Sweetie looked at my flushed face, and she frowned. Sorry, things kinda got out of control again. Did you get hurt? I shook my head. Everything's fine, sweetie. I'm just a bit dazed is all. Al Bloom, who was now sitting at my feet with Scootaloo beside her, suddenly turned to the Pegasus and whispered loudly, Part of him is sticking out. What do you mean? Asked Scootaloo, curious. Sticking out? I felt something hard poke my chest. Oh my god. Al Bloom continued, and it wasn't a hoof. Oh my. It was at that moment that I realized I still had a hard-on, and that it was sticking right up in plain sight of the little folds, so I quickly slipped down lower into the water so that it would be hidden by the bubbles. But that mischievous little Pegasus Scootaloo realized I was trying to hide something, and she started to paw at the foam with her fore hooves, searching for the sticky out bit. I just saw it, she said. Then our little hoof touched it, and she slapped it a couple of times, still hidden by the veil of bubbles, and she laughed. Wow, what is this thing? Hey, cut that out, Scoots. Wow, I thought that would be Sweetie Belle saying that. I apologize for that. I yelped, bringing my hands down and covering my hard-on to protect it from her less than gentle handling. Why? Asked the perverse little Pegasus fool. I want to see it. Assume Apple Bloom was helping your search for it as I thrashed left and right to keep it out of the way of their enthusiastic hooves. No, I said. It's really sensitive. Sensitive? Scootaloo's eyes went wide, and she turned and whispered to Apple Bloom, who went red and giggled. It's his what? She repeated, looking at me with a mixture of curiosity and mischievousness. Sweetie had been watching the whole time, a look of confusion on her dear little face. What are you guys talking about? She demanded, feeling left out. The other two didn't bother to answer her, for they started hunting around in the foam in front of me again as I struggled to avoid getting an enthusiastic little hoof in the balls. And at last I cried out, Hey, hey, hey! Wait! Scootaloo and Apple Bloom stopped, although Scoots did splash the water one last time in her own petulant little way. Look, if I show you it, will you promise to just take your bath and let me get some peace and quiet tonight? I asked in desperation. We will, said Apple Bloom, turning on her most adorable, moist-eyed expression. Sure, whatever, agreed Scootaloo dismissively. Show us what? Asked Sweetie. Scootaloo turned and whispered in her ear, and the baby unicorn went bright red. Seeing her embarrassed made me even harder, so I decided I might as well show them what they want to see. I mean, kids have to learn about sex sooner or later, right? So I got the free fools to sit down in the bath quietly while I got out. My body was still discreetly covered in foam, and the three of them leaned forward over the edge of the bath to get a closer look. Ah, yes, I will talk in this British accent now for the rest of the video. Except no, that's a terrible idea. Oh, we can't see anything, complained Scootaloo. The foam's in the way. Why not wipe it off? Why not wipe it off? I asked, stepping close to the edge of the bath. Oh my. A little gentle hooving might bring me over the edge, I said, and a perverse part of me wanted to come all over that sexy little Pegasus hoof. That'd be kind of hard to explain, though. I don't know, it just seems like a bad idea. Maybe it's just me, but coming on a baby's Pegasus hoof and then trying to explain what that is, I don't think that would go well for you, dude. Ah, well. But it was Sweetie who leaned forward. I'll do it, she said, My heart skipped a beat as she brought her little hoof up to the foam around my crotch and pelvis and started to bat it away. Just try wiping it gently, sweetie, I said, concerned that she might break something. What are you concerned that she might break, dude? I don't understand this. Sweetie nodded and she stuck out her tongue. Sweetie nodded and she stuck out her tongue in concentration as her soft little hoof wiped the foam from the length of my dick. I bit my lip to prevent myself from moaning as I was sure the little foals would soon cotton on to the perversity of the whole situation if they knew I was enjoying it. I was getting close now. A few more strokes and little Sweetie Belle would soon have my sticky yule all over her hoof. Oh my. But suddenly Scootaloo piped up. Aw, Sweetie, you're taking too long. Texas grabbed the shower head in her mouth and nodded to Applebloom, who turned up the tap with her nose, and a sudden spray of cold water struck me between the legs, making me fall backwards onto the tiles with a gasp. As I lay there, a pretty foal stared at my now naked crotch. Aw, it's going down, said Applebloom. What did it feel like, sweetie? What the fuck is wrong with me? What did it feel like, sweetie? Sweetie was blushing red. It felt hard, but kind of soft like velvet at the same time. She looked me down with a strange expression on her face. It was pretty cool. Kinky. I got to my feet, rubbing my butt. Okay, guys, show's over. Remember your promise. Okay, chorused the free foals in disappointed, sing-song voices. But first, I want to check that you guys are really nice and clean everywhere. I knew I couldn't let the chance to have a bit more fun with the soapy little foals go by, and I said to go for broke. Auntie Rarity will scold me if she comes home and finds even a speck of mud on you. Isn't that right, sweetie? She sure will. What is wrong with me? Just ignore what I say in bad accents, okay? I'm terrible, replied the little unicorn, nodding furiously. So I picked up the scrubbing brush and said, I want you little fillies to bend over and show me your backs so that I can scrub the places you guys had trouble reaching. I'm sure I saw some mud there. Little foals did just as I ordered. It seemed me help Pinky with an itch that would otherwise have needed a good roll in the grass to alleviate by leaning over her and scratching her with my nails, so my request made sense to them. Right, that seems just kinda wrong. Oh well. The three turned around and laid down next to each other on all fours with their rumps over the side of the bathtub. Oh my. I lathered up the scrubbing brush and got to work. Scootaloo and Applebloom kept themselves amused by blowing bubbles in each other's faces, while Sweetie just looked over her back at me while I washed her. She seemed to be enjoying the attention, and so I gave her a wink as I scrubbed the small of her back. And one of her little hind legs started to shake up and down in pleasure. Do you like that, Sweetie? I asked. Uh-huh, she said, closing her eyes and sticking out her tongue, but the other two foals had realized they were missing out by this time. They both demanded I scrub them next. They both seemed to enjoy it as well, but Scootaloo especially. Little baby wings stiffened it and stood up off her back as I scrubbed her particularly hard. Aw, wing boner. She is going to have a fun time. I think you guys need some more lather, I said, taking a handful of body soap and massaging it onto their backs. Their coats felt gorgeous and soft in my hands, and I had the chance to feel along their sides and up to their little rumps, as well as under the pretext of washing them all over. Their bodies were firm, and with that delectable fleshiness of childhood, but delightfully soft puppy fat at the same time. And little Sweetie had more of it than the other two. I made her giggle as I ran my soapy fingers along her ribs. I even gave Applebloom a good lathering as well, paying special attention to her rump, which was particularly well-rounded and cute. I even risked running my hands down her haunches, but she soon covered herself with her tail in girlish modesty, so I decided not to force the issue. Okay. Last of all, I lathered up Scootaloo, and as I ran my hands up and down her back, I decided to lather up her little wings as well. I placed my fingers through the stiff little digits, enjoying the sensation of the downy feathers as I did so, and rubbed and massaged them until Scootaloo was muttering in pleasure. Then I stopped, and she turned her head and looked back at me, a mixture of annoyance and frustration on her face. It's all for now, I said, slapping her playfully on the rump. Yikes, that's not a smart idea. I took the basin I'd brought with me and filled it with warm water and rinsed the little foals off until their coats were sparkling. Okay, you guys, I said, grabbing up the sponge. Just one last spot to do. I need to poke your little butts out a bit more. Oh my, this guy is really going broke. With the three little butts in a row before me, I ran a hand along the top of them, across the hills and valleys of super soft, foolish flesh until I came to Sweetie. Oh my god. Yeah, you can see where this is going. I put my hands on either cheek of her adorable rump. The bashful little unicorn switched her tail between my face and her girly parts, making it difficult to see anything. I took her tail gently in one hand and lifted it to one side. I promise it won't hurt, Sweetie, I told her, a big reassuring smile on my face as she looked back at me in alarm. You know, I can only imagine this guy with like the fucking pedo face while he's doing this. I'm sorry. But it's true. She nodded, and so, well, I went ahead and did everything that I wanted to do. Oh my. First I took my time, enjoying the adorable sight of a little foal's pussy and butthole. Sweetie's pussy was just as undeveloped as Apple Bloom's and resembled a baby's. There was almost no sign of inner lips, and her little clit was hidden. It was an absolutely enchanting sight, and I would have given years of my life to have been able just to lean forward and tongue-base that little perfect little slit and tiny little pucker. But I knew I couldn't risk it, so instead I took the sponge and started washing between her haunches, gently running the edge of soap along her pussy. And when I touched the end of her slit, closest to her tummy, she gasped and I stopped. Did I hurt you, Sweetie? I asked in mock concern, taking the sponge away. Nuh-uh, said the little unicorn, shaking her head. Oh, I don't know, I said. I'd better have a closer look and make sure. I put the sponge on the edge of the tub, placing my hands on either side of her slit. And oh my god! I gently parted it until the tiny pink inner lips became visible with her little clit at the bottom. They glistened, stuck together with a few little threads of liquid. Oh my god. They gave off a spicy scent. The smell of an excited little filly. Yep. You can definitely see where this is going now, can't you? I brought the sponge back up and dabbed the liquid away, and she moaned a little. Oh, come on, Sweetie, Scootaloo was obviously annoyed with the attention her friend was getting from me. It can't hurt that much. It's just a sponge. SpongeBob SquarePants? I don't know. Now it makes me wonder. Do people in Equestria actually do people in Equestria actually have TV? Yeah. Oh well. I decided not to push my luck. My cock was so hard now that I felt I'd almost be able to come hands-free. Goddamn. So I shifted my attention to the little Pegasus. Scoots was the more developed of her three. Her mouth was less pronounced, her lips had started to blossom out, and her clit poked out from its hood at the end of her slit. I decided to pay her back for squirting me earlier, so I washed her as I made sure that her naughty little clit got a few hard dabs from the sponge. Scoots gasped, and a few more dabs later, stickiness started to jump from her. The smell of her excitement was far richer and muskier than Sweetie's had been. But there was no way I was going to get the little hellion off. Oh my god. I teased her a little more, and then I slapped her lightly on the rump and moved on to Apple Bloom. Scootaloo had been looking back at me with half-lidded eyes, but when I stopped she turned away and just snorted in annoyance. The foam near her muzzle puffing into a little cloud of bubbles. Bubbles! I'd seen little Apple Bloom up close before, of course. But now, under the pretense of washing her, I had the opportunity for a nice, leisurely examination. I gently parted her little slit as I had the others, and I noticed that she was already excited. Oh my. Little Apple Bloom had been clearly enjoying the naughty experience. Oh my gosh, dude. I brought my face closer to her pussy and breathed in the exquisite scent. It was a mixture of sweetness and spiciness, not as rich as Scootaloo, but spicier than Sweetie's sweet fragrance. Apparently, everybody, each pussy has its own smell. If you're a girl, try doing it. See what happens. And if you get in trouble, don't blame me. I'm just a guy on the internet, and you really shouldn't listen to me. Speaking of which, crap, I went over time. Oh, wait, no I didn't. Oh yeah, I only have a minute left. I suddenly got an insanely strong compulsion to taste her, and I decided there was no way I was going to just look at some little full pussy, and then go beat off like a loser without getting a taste of it. I moved my face closer and sneaked a quick lick from the base of her slit to her clit, immediately covering it up with a swipe with the sponge as I did so. The sheer satiny softness against my tongue coupled with the clear, intense flavor of her excitement was like a weird sexual drug that started my dick throbbing even more, and I had to stop and bring my hand down and striking myself until I came over the side of the tub. I refused to bring the evening's fun to such a lame anticlimax. I bit my lip and told myself that there'd be further opportunities for naughty games with those three sexy little foals in the future. I just have to be patient. Okay, you three, I said, grabbing the pile of fluffy towels and tossing one to each of them. Get dried quickly, and then it's time for milking cookies, and then off to bed. On that note, I'm gonna stop it here. Why? Because I'm afraid that I'm gonna cut it really close like last time. I already am. See you next video, every pony.